Hello. So I'm going to make one of our favorite meals, and I'll show you how we make it. So we're going to have fried cabbage. Okay, let me see if I can flip it around. If not, just a second. Okay, so for this recipe, it's super easy. It's pretty quick. It takes about 35 minutes to cook. And then you just have the time of cutting everything up. It is going to call for 1 stick of butter, a small onion, a small head of cabbage, a package of sausage. The recipe we used to use called for like a 16 ounce, but that's kind of hard to find. So a package of sausage and a can of tomatoes. Okay, so I have a big stock pot and I have 1 stick of butter that's already starting to melt. And then to this we're going to add 1 onion. Okay, so I got 1 onion. I could have chopped a little smaller, but all the layers will come apart and it also will be cooking down some. So we're going to let that continue to cook, and then I'm going to chop up a head of lettuce, or not lettuce, a head of cabbage. Alright, so you want like a small head of cabbage. They were all pretty large when I got them. So this is a pretty big one, so I'm actually going to be putting about half to 3/4 of it in there. And I also have a second pot that's going to make a second pot of this. With this one, I put about half of the onion in it, and this one's going to have spicy sausage in it, where the other one's going to have regular sausage. And you're probably going to be thinking, that small head of cabbage, oh, that's not going to be too much. But by the time you get it all chopped up, and it gets like floofed up, it ends up being a lot of cabbage, so sometimes your pan's full. But that all does cook down and condenses, so you don't end up with a whole pan of, or whole pot of cabbage. So it might look like a lot at first, but it does cook. Okay, so this is about half the cabbage. I put the other half into the big pot. I'm going to see how much room. Okay, so the big pot's about half full of cabbage. I'm going to see how much room is going to be left in our small pot after I add most of the rest of the cabbage, and then we will see if we're going to put some more into this pot. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so I did put almost all of the small half of the cabbage into this pan. This pan is my smaller pan. What's that? That was I wanted to show you. This is my smaller of the pans. However, it's a good pan. It's a good heavy pan, and that seems to be a good thing to be using. And the same thing with this stock pot. It's also a heavy bottom pan. I have a lighter stainless steel stock pot. However, we have found that when we've used that for the cabbage, it actually kind of burns the bottom of it. But having the heavier metal seems to make it cook better. So, just a little pointer. But you definitely can make it pretty much in any kind of pan you have. Okay, while that's cooking, I'm going to show you. So this is what sausage that we got. If you like make your own sausage, that's great. You could use that. If you have a preference of sausage, we're using the turkey kielbasa. And then I also got this hot smoked sausage. And this one's going to go into our smaller pan. It's less sausage, but it's also spicy, and I don't want the spicy. So I'm going to get those cut up. That's still the cooking. I'm going to get that cut up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, it has been about 10 minutes. I've already started stirring this. Ooh, more steam. Just so you know, if you do not like the smell of cabbage, which I'm not a huge fan of, your house is going to kind of smell like cabbage. But it doesn't last super long. And this meal is actually really delicious. So, it'll be okay. So, now that that's all stirred up, I'm going to go ahead and add our sausage. And this is just what I cut it up as. You can, I guess, cut it however you want. This is just the size that we usually do. And put that in. Go ahead and put that in there. And give it a little bit of a stir. You don't have to really stir it up too much. And then we're going to let this sit for another 5 to 10 minutes. And so we'll be right back. Oh, and I do have it on like a medium heat, so that way it's not scorching the bottom of it. Okay, so we'll be right back. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is add a can of diced tomatoes. If you have like fresh tomatoes, you can totally use those, but you're going to have to make sure that you get all the juice that comes out when you cut them up too, because you're wanting the tomato juice, because that's going to help. It's going to already be moist or juicy, but that's going to just help it. Okay, so after you add your tomatoes, then we're going to put the lid back on and let it cook for about 20 minutes. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. Let's check. Ooh-wee. Oh, yeah, the cabbage is definitely getting nice and tender. It's getting close. I think we're going to keep letting it cook for the last 10 minutes, and then we'll dish it up. Okay, it's been another 5 minutes. So a total of 15 minutes of it cooking so far. We're going to get another stir. At this point, I'm also going to find a piece of cabbage. Sorry. Our son's not very happy in the background. I'm playing the water. And you're just going to try your cabbage. You want it to be tender and not crunchy, unless you like the crunchy cabbage. But the only way I like my crunchy cabbage is if it's in coleslaw. It is almost there. It just needs just a few more minutes. So we're going to give it the last 5 minutes and we should be done. Okay, it's been the last 5 minutes. So it has cooked a total, once everything was added, it cooked a total of 20 minutes. It's looking really good. And see, maybe there is like juice down there. And that's one of the things. It will be juicy in your bowl. And it needs to be something where it's good with like a dinner roll with butter or bread and butter. This dish by itself though is a low carb meal, which is how we came up with, or how we found this dish. And there you have fried cabbage. Let's see if our 2-year-old likes it. What do you think? Are you trying to get it? Even a 2-year-old likes it. Well, I hope you enjoyed the recipe. It is delicious. Fried cabbage.